Now that we've established the key context that we're playing in, we want to identify our tonal anchors. We want to identify tonic, which is the resting sound, which in the key of G major would be G. The dominant, which in the key of G major would be D. And we want to identify both, especially the upper dominant and the sound and feel of the lower dominant as well. Now, what you do here can depend on what piece you're doing and where that piece begins. This piece, the melody, begins on the dominant, and so we want to make sure that we establish a strong feel of patterns prior to actually putting onto the piano so that students can identify that we're actually starting on the dominant. So I might have them echo a pattern like this. Bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. Or we might do bum, 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 bum. For songs that start on the upper tonic, like Joy to the World, I definitely want to do a pattern that puts that upper tonic into their ear. So I might have them just echo something like, I'm going to switch keys here since it's in C major. Bum, bum, bum. And then bum, bum, bum. Bum, bum, bum. And actually, I might start with the dominant. I don't know why I started with the tonic. I would probably go bum, 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 and then bum, 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 rather than starting with the tonic. Not a huge deal, but it's just kind of what feels a little bit more natural. If you have a tune like Go Tell It on the Mountain that starts on the third note of the scale, you definitely want to make sure you do a pattern that includes the third note of the scale. Bum, bum, bum. If you use solfege, then use your solfege. Do, mi, so. And sometimes I'll even do a variety of patterns just to kind of really get it in our bodies. So echo so, mi, do, mi, so, mi. And usually the ones that start on the middle note are the harder ones. So if they struggle, it's not unusual. Mi, do, mi. And so forth. So we're going to go back to this song that we're in though. We're in G major, so that just gives you an example of how you might do it with other tunes as well. So for Away in a Manger, I might go bum, 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 right? And then maybe even 1, 3, 5, or do, mi, so, right? And then I'll say, okay, now let's start singing this song. I'm sorry. Now we want to identify the resting sound. So what note is at rest? Can you sing the resting note? Bum, there's our resting sound. All right, now can you sing the upper dominant? Try to let them do it first. Sometimes they can, sometimes they're just a little bit hesitant, but usually they're like, bum. Yep, there's our upper. And then what about the lower one? Go back to our tonic again. Bum, the lower dominant. Bum, bum. And again, some of this is going to depend on how much work you've done in this kind of realm with your students. So if it's new, it might be a little bit uncomfortable and unusual to both you and them, but the more you do it, the more comfortable that you get with it. And it's so flexible. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, but we're just getting those tonal anchors into our mind so we can now start talking about what we hear and establishing how our phrases begin and end, which is next.